What's a dragon?
That's a dragon.
Hi, I'm Seymour from fxguide.com for Wired. Well, WETA Digital in New Zealand know a thing or two about fire-breathing dragons, having done The Hobbit with the desolation of Smaug, but perhaps they knew a little bit less about the furry vanishing kind. That is until director David Lowery's Pete's Dragon came to New Zealand.
Well, the film begins in the Pacific Northwest, somewhere in the recent past. I knew we needed something special for the story and for the characters, and I had a sneaky suspicion that we'd find that in New Zealand.
Elliot.
Pete's Dragon, Elliot, presented some real challenges to the visual effects team. Chief among them was this idea of Elliot's invisibility. During the course of the film, the nature of this changes depending on kind of the emotion of the scene. Now, in some scenes, such as this, Elliot is effectively camouflaged, and at other times he's actually invisible. In other words, sometimes the WETA artists needed Elliot to appear to have the texture of the background on him, and at other times we need to sort of have the idea that we're seeing through him to the forest beyond. Now, the camouflage was mainly used in the earlier scenes, and whenever Elliot has a texture on him and he moves, he's incredibly readable. This actually served a fairly interesting purpose for when Elliot gets angry. You see, the dragon has some 28 custom grooms of over 20 million individual hairs, and they were all simulated quite separately. So as the camouflage texture was projected on them in 3D, if, for example, his fur blew in the wind, the camouflage would kind of break up. The team latched onto this and used it when Elliot gets angry, giving the idea that he was kind of losing his camouflage when he was losing his cool.
Let's go hunting.
This particular shot was the first one that the team did of the invisibility, and it comes at the end of the film. It's quite sad. Now, the problem here is, unlike the camouflage sequences, how do you actually read where a giant invisible creature actually is? The team solved this by adding kind of particles and flock to the air. The disturbance of the still forest air gives the very elegant solution that the director wanted without introducing anything that's kind of magical or breaks the rather somber and sad tone at this point in the film. While the film had been prevised by Proof in LA, the filmmakers opted to not have practical stuff happening on set, but wherever you see the dragon interacting with something, be that trees, undergrowth or plants, they were also all added digitally in post. Oscar-nominated visual effects supervisor Eric Sandin actually joined Pete's Dragon directly from The Hobbit. WETA actually helped redesign the character a bit by making the nose more horse-like. Apparently horses have very expressive noses, as well as working on the ears, bringing them down on the side of the head, making them less cat-like and more like that of a dog. And if you're wondering how you kind of get young actors to give a really good performance when they're effectively meant to be working with what is, after all, kind of a giant flying green furry pet dog, Eric Sandin himself walked around on set with a giant 20-foot pole with a ball on the end of it. He actually acted out the role of Elliot in the film. All this comes together in a really complex retelling of the 1977 Disney classic. Well, please don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes action. I'm Seymour for Wired.